times. Good morning.
Oh, yeah. Here we are.
Good morning.
Back at it again.
Yeah, man. We're back. We're here.
We're back.
I saw you dropped your microphone.
I know, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Trying
it's
to
all
hold
good.
it together. And then I was like, wait, what's going on?
Apparently, we were clipping, but that might just be the way our guitars sound. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was fun. It was a fun jam.
Distortion.
It was fun. It was good. We're here. We're back.
That's right.
Live stream Wednesday mornings. We are not using our new modeler for sure.
Almost.
But
right?
hey.
Sort of, kind of.
I mean, you know, whatever. What are you holding there, Sean?
This? What is this? This might be my new toy, baby.
Your latest bad decision.
Oh, super bad decision. This is a 1966 SG Special. Junior Special. Les Paul SG Junior Special.
Now let's talk about why you need that, even though this is already yours.
Don't out me. Don't out me, Jonathan.
And this is just a lowly custom shop.
Listen, the people are going to be confused now, Jonathan.
Very similar pickups. And by similar, I mean the same.
The same.
But this guitar plays amazing.
It does.
It feels great.
I love that.
It sounds great.
I love that guitar.
But that guitar is actually vintage.
This one's a 1966, dude. Come on, you can't fake that. You can't see it too well on the camera and stuff, but it's like checked up. There's
It's got the good buckle rash. You know what I mean?
If I can get the light just right, you see the buckle rash.
It's what you want an old SG that to be. You know, like an old SG with P90. It's you don't want it pristine. You want it like
exactly.
That,
You want the headstock break. And then everybody on camera, they're like, he's holding it with one
oh
hand.
My God.
Oh my God.
I mean, the headstock break. It's best to get it out of the way.
That's right.
You know, so now it's done. You don't have to worry about it.
That's right.
It's broken. It's fixed.
Well, and on top of that, the vibe, dude. The vibe of the headstock break, the paint, the check, and the feel, that has a very big neck on it too, and I love that. This
and it feels good.
Has a little something, a little bit smaller.
Well, I've said for a long time. I've said it on videos, on my videos, and said it on this channel for the longest time. And I'm not abandoning this totally. I'd say, vintage or a custom shop. The custom shop's always gonna feel better, and it's probably built better, honestly.
Yeah.
But I've been playing this '78 Deluxe, Tele Deluxe.
So good. So good.
And I had it refretted, and it sounds amazing, and it's starting to feel really good. That's a whole other thing we should talk about, like how guitars I feel like even if they are old, you kind of play them back to where they feel good. But anyways, we'll get that in a minute. Man, there's just something cool about having an old guitar, and I don't know that I'd ever understood that until I had an older guitar. And I mean, I'm not talking. It's not like I have a pre-CBS Fender.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's a '70s guitar, but man, it sounds really good.
Something that's aged, right? And maybe not even just aged, but something that is at its core been played a lot. That guitar's been played. You know what I mean?
I think that's what I like. It's seeing action. A guy, really played professionally with it. And it's
well,
when I look at all the little checks and all the dings and all the neck where it's rub raw. I mean,
Well, and we started talking about this before. Now we kind of wanted to hold it for this to see, where we both stand. Because I don't really know where I stand at yet. I'm always torn on this. Do you think the guitar has songs in it? Or do you think that you are the song machine and whatever you pick up, you're going to play the same thing regardless?
I say yes to both. But I feel like it's changed. Now, here's where I would change what you say. I think that you are the song machine. But the guitar does have songs in it, and it's not because my argument, the thing I think is wrong with what you said is you don't play the same no matter what you pick up.
There you go.
So is it the guitar? I mean, that's just philosophy. The guitar is just a dead tree or whatever. However you want to think about that. But there's something about when I pick up that old '70s Tele Deluxe. Yeah. There's a certain vibe that I get, even if it's just psychological in my head, and I say, oh, here's the thing I should play, and it feels cool to play it. And it's inspiring, right? So I play something different than if I picked up a Strat or if I picked up a brand new Les Paul or whatever, and when I pick up my Gretsch, the reason I love Gretches is they make me feel a certain way. So I play and write a certain way.
Yes, right, and I agree with all that. In my mind, that's kind of where I stand. Is that sure? We're all the songbook right? Anybody who plays, you got something in you that's going to come out, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Now, if you pick up this guitar, though, like whenever I play a guitar with P90s, like either one of these, there's something innately in me that is immediately like, yeah, it's gonna be rocking. I don't know.
I don't
what
even
it
have
is.
to be in tune. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You can't tell what notes I'm playing when it's grungy. It doesn't matter.
That's why it's P90s, baby.
I used to think that about P90s, but they're actually more articulate than I give them credit for being. Like cleanish P90s are actually awesome.
Yeah.
But no, P90s are like supposed to be like
Yes.
raunchy, like rock and roll.
And I found a whole new lease on P90s with that guitar, where as I played it, I realized, like some really nice clean tones are pulled, especially working with the volume, which is sick, right? That's the magic of a Gibson at the end of the day, is what they say, right? Is like because you actually want to use the controls.
You know.
I don't know. Or one of the many things.
Homegrown Son wants to know if you play a hollow body the same as a solid body. You got a pretty cool hollow body not long ago.
Did. And it was sick. And I want to do a video on it too. It hasn't gone to the wayside. I want you to know that I've been playing a lot of slide guitar on it to try and work up some skills, because whenever I play it, it's a really cool guitar that somebody sent.
Kind of lends to that. It was Mr. Homegrown Son.
There you go.
There you go.
I was thinking, is that his YouTube handle? It's like,
I feel
but
money.
we're gonna do a video on that soon, I think, and it's cool. I got a little setup I'm gonna do.
And he sent a guitar to our friend Olm in Hawaii,
Yes.
who lost everything in the horrible fires in Maui, and we've set up a GoFundMe for that.
Yeah.
And I think it's live. We just need to like launch it because we want to make sure that it actually makes as much as it can for them. I think they're in pretty bad situations right now over there. Just talking, I talked to Olm the other day on Instagram, but I think at least he can communicate some now.
Yes.
But man,
it sounds like it's going from a bad situation to maybe a very, very bad situation.
yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. So we just want to be able to help those folks, and particularly our friend Olm, because he lost all his guitars, lost his house, lost his car. Guitars are the least of the worries, I guess, at this point. But we want to make sure that we help take care of him, because he meant a lot to a lot of folks, or means a lot to a lot of folks in the guitar community. So
that's right.
But anyways, people are agreeing on our chat, by the way, that some guitars really do have vibes and they elicit certain responses, and I think that's true.
And that's like the thing with this, right? And here's my bad decision question, right? I'm able to purchase this from a good friend of ours at the shop, who I actually got that guitar from him as well, and he helped me out on that a good bit, just because there's no way I could have afforded that guitar otherwise. He was really cool about it, and he was like, I know you're gonna play it, and you will do this guitar. He said a lot of nice things, is all I'll say.
Right.
And the same thing with this. Whenever it came in, he was like, he's like, listen, he's like, I want to put it up for consignment. He's like, but I want you to have the first bid at it if you want it. He's like, because I know this is a you thing. And I was like, damn, man, that's sick. And it's just, there's kind of that story to it. And also, I hold this and I'm like, Jesus.
Zane says the SG looks better on you.
I mean, that's the other thing too, right? We've had what was it the other day? SGs, the love-hate thing, Well, this solves all the problems.
The guitar. I mean, it is. You're like, oh, I want it, and you never. I did tell Sean that if he needed help, I would take this guitar home and just keep it for him if he was running out of room at home, and just lovingly play it and bring it back when he needs.
Here's the secret to these two, right? I think I was playing that last night at my rehearsal, right? And I'm lucky enough to be able to play at a really dope venue that our beautiful cameraman owns, and he's like, rehearse here, and stuff like that. And I get to do that, and it's great, right? So I get to turn up really loud. I was playing that guitar, and I'm sitting there, and I'm, about to rip a solo, and we're getting to this cool part in the song, and I turn around towards the amp, and I've got it lifted up at me, so it's like waist level, so it's right where the guitar is, and I felt the whole guitar vibrating and doing the feedback thing, and I think it's the solid neck through.
Now, that was this guitar?
Mahogany. No, that was
this
that
guitar.
One. Yeah.
It's so funny because when you got this guitar, and this is another good topic, right?
This is a great topic.
You like Sean loved the guitar, but he was not used to it, right? Because he's a Strat man through and through. Yep. Always played Strats as long as I've known him. Yep. When he first started coming in the shop, he was like a kid with this little bandana thing he used to wear. That's true. That was real. Like, oh God. And man, he would just come and hang out and like do stuff. Yeah, it was. Strange days, but he just always he's always loved Strats, and so it was weird for you to get used to play this live, right? Like something that's not a Strat.
We had a lot of conversations about that because Johnny had his 335, which you got probably a year before I got this. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Roughly
Something like that.
And you're always playing like a Telly or your Strat, right? Those were kind of the two things.
I didn't have any Gibson anything. I had all Fenders, mostly Tellys at that point.
As long as I had known you, there were no Gibsons. It was always like the Telly, and then the Strat was kind of there just in case you wanted to do some trim stuff.
Yeah, something different.
Yeah, and you got the 335, and I watched that slowly become one of your main guitars that you probably play more, or at least just as much as
Probably
the Telly.
With the band, I probably play it more.
Sounds great though, and this goes back to the question of the hollow body thing.
Yep.
We were talking to we glazed over that, but that's super resonant. I love hollow bodies. I just I don't know. For whatever reason, solid bodies are something that I find myself playing more. Maybe it's just because I've never really owned just a hollow body at consistency. To which now I do have one, and I do want to play it, and I really want to play it just for the slide factor too, because I think that's a cool part.
I like that you got the slide bug.
That's right, slide.
You're getting there. You're going down the road.
It's bad news.
Down the road. But
I keep watching these videos of Derek trucks, and that doesn't help. That makes me want to quit. I'm like,
well, it's kind of both, right?
So
it's like
good.
inspiring.
I know. I'm like,
But I mean, like I went through a phase, right, where I bought a lot of Telecasters.
Yeah.
I had like 4 or 5 Telecasters, and they had different pickups and stuff, but some of them were exactly the same. But I just loved them, and they made me play different. So I'm not one of the, I've never bought into the, I can't have this because I have a Strat already. Like if another guitar speaks to you, because no two guitars are the same. They can be the same model, same pickups.
Yeah.
They're just not the same. So I don't know. I say make your bad decision. Buy your SG.
That's kind of where I'm at, right? Because these guitars do sound different. This one's got the pickups that it's all in my head, of course, at the end of the day. But the pickups have more warmth to them, and they're mellower, and I can make a million excuses. But it's just at the end of the day, sometimes stuff's just cool, and you can just buy stuff because you think it's cool.
Because it's. I mean, this is fun, right? We're not.
So fun.
You're not going to do brain surgery with that SG. You're
this
just
is a tool, Jonathan.
Play me. I mean, yes. I have to read you this comment. Paul says, "Wish you guys would play something with G, C, and D kind of shitty, so I could tell how the SG with P90s would sound if I played it." That's such a great comment, Paul. I'm sure you're wonderful.
I'm sure you do great. Seriously.
I mean, you probably can't be shittier than us already.
I know.
But,
did you hear? I totally missed a round of I was like,
that's fine.
Coming after A, I'm just gonna go straight to B.
That's okay.
Not
We had No Baxter here to make us play all clean and pretty today. We were just getting after it. But anyways,
me and Johnny believe in the swamp, dude.
we like the swamp,
We like the swamp.
especially with P90s, man.
That's right. We were talking about the band the other day too. Same thing. Loosey goosey.
You don't know the shape, oh, man.
What's time? Why be in time when you could be on
But they're
time?
so together. They're so loosely tight. I feel like that's the epitome of the band.
Been playing a lot of drums too, so Levon Helm is a big
Play and sing.
topic of discussion.
All right. Time for serious news.
Bingo.
Sean, what do you think everybody's reaction to the old revolutionary Fender Tone Master Pro?
Do you want to know everybody else's reaction or my reaction? That's
I
the question.
I want to know what you think other people's reactions were, and then I want your reaction.
I think other people's reaction to the Tone Master so far, it's been a lot of positive because there's something to the easy use of this. This seems like the first thing, not the first thing to come out, obviously, but the first amp modeler like this to come out that seems to scratch that itch of the simplicity. It's okay, simplest form of I'm gonna shift gears on this thing. To where I played around with some helixes. Sometimes I could see why I was able to figure it out fairly well, but I can see why some people probably play that and they're like,
nah.
Oh, this is really difficult to navigate.
Right.
To where with the Fender one, it was unboxed and they were making sounds pretty immediately, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then I messed around with it some of myself. I was like, oh, I think a lot of people are enjoying that, and then a lot of people are trying to poke holes in it because it's Fender. It's
I think what's cool and what I think was probably tricky that they did, and I mean, you could take this as we're Fender fanboys, and we are.
Oh yeah.
But not about these kind of things because none
Yeah.
of us are super pro, throw away your tube amps. Yeah. But I like that it's that ease of use. It was easy to figure out. It was easy to change, but it didn't sacrifice functionality.
No.
Because like you could go so deep in like a Helix or a Fractal, or do things and set up different routings, and you can do all that stuff in the Fender, but it's just stupid easy. Like I was doing, and I remember even after I'd owned the Helix LT before, not long ago I bought a XL Stomp, and I have already gotten rid of it, but I had to relearn like how to do all the junk and snapshots and all that stuff. I mean, maybe it's because I'm an honorary boomer. I don't know, but
well, no, I mean like I said, I can see why it's confusing. I mean, that's not like there's no simple format to that. You know what I mean? It's probably difficult to program something to do that. And Fender was able to kind of figure it out just because I feel like they've done stuff like this, like with their Mustang amps and stuff like that, to where it's supposed to be, user friendly, so that if somebody knows nothing about it, they can at least plug it in, cut it on, and find a sound that they like.
Well, I watched the RJ Ron Kileo demo. It's really good, by the way. He goes through it, and he didn't have a manual at all, so he was just like going through it, and
blind.
Pretty blind, which was cool. One thing I found out from his video in the comments, those first two effects loops they're set before everything, so they're fuzz like usable.
Oh.
So like if you want to put fuzzes in there, you're golden on the first two, and then the other two you can put anywhere you want to change. That's why there's 4 effects loops.
That's kind of smart. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
I don't know that I'd have thought. I mean, like that's why I don't develop modelers, but pretty cool.
I feel like what Fender did is they took something and they tried to put their spin on it, and I think you get that with like the turnable knobs with the feet, where it's like you can roll everything. That's pretty cool. But as far as like the public's reaction, I don't know, it seems like people are, enjoying it. It's just a very,
I mean, there's always the people that are going to hate on anything, right? Yes. Oh, it's too expensive, or it's, Fender won't support it. But I think overall, most people who've heard it, it sounds as good as any of them to me. Maybe better in some ways. I think every brand has its own little like things it crushes. Like sound, I'm talking just tone wise. Yeah, just things it's amazing at, and things where it's like, maybe I can tell that's not real. Yeah. We A/B'd it, and I still think this is a video that we should do. And maybe we'll do it members only, and then release it later. But we kind of A/B'd it to my Tone X yesterday afternoon after we videoed.
What do you find?
Man, I mean, they both sound good. They are different. Like I tried to pull up the deluxe reverb in the Tone X, and then the first preset on the Fender is a deluxe reverb, which is appropriate. I mean, they're close. Yeah. They both sound good. They're both like a deluxe reverb, but they're a little different. Yeah. So you probably tweak them to be the same. Yeah.
I mean, and that goes to say as well for both of us, and like we were saying, kind of shop wide, we can kind of talk about Baxter as well, and even Dylan to some degree. It's like we're 2-band guys. That's, for me, that's where I live, and it's because it may be made up. It might all be in my head. I might be crazy, but I just whenever we were playing that, I was kind of like, oh, it's awesome. If you want to, like, if you're doing a fly gig, like we talked about, all that cool stuff. Yeah. But if you still want to hear kind of like amp push,
you're never gonna get that with a modeler. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like
exactly.
you're just not.
Well, that's okay though. He's got his place in its own.
But you're not, and the thing about it is, right? Sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you're not gonna get it with a tube amp if it's in another room, or if it's under the stage, or if it's Yeah. So whatever. This was a good comment from Greg. He said he got the Epiphone. I have no idea how I'm supposed to say this. The Shinichi Ubukata ES355, which we were interested in. Cool. In 60s Cherry this past week. I think it was the one you were interested in on a past video. Derek's been checking that out too, a lot. And in fact, he was the one who showed it to me. He said it's great, hitting way above its weight class. So that's cool to know.
That's cool. Yeah.
It looks awesome. Like, I haven't been able to put my hands on one, but it looks badass. So congratulations, Greg, on that. I mean, that's, and it's good to hear that that's kind of living up to what we thought. No,
it is super cool.
But no, seems like a cool guitar, and for a $1,200 guitar, right? So not like a cheap guitar, but not a crazy expensive guitar. But I think there's a lot of things settling in that $1,000 to $1,500 price range that are like giggable. Yeah, it's just getting over. Maybe it's not made in the U.S., which is a whole.
we had the Mike McCready come in. I thought that was great. That was nuts. That was a crazy good guitar, and it's like, oh, it's made in Mexico. Not that it matters. It's
I mean, like, is it as good as a custom shop? No, but it'd
No,
be stupid
yeah.
if it was as good as a, $5,500 custom shop.
yes, it would be crazy. It'd be like how
But it is good.
It is good.
It was really, really good.
yeah.
So,
It
anyways,
to put a comparison on it, to me, it matched up with the American original that I had. Playing that, I felt like I was playing that guitar. And
Okay.
it was kind of strange. I was like, wow, okay.
So you think that was as good as your American original?
Yes. Yeah. And I wish I wish whenever we had it in, I would have brought my American original in just to AB it a little bit
commie
close. I
bastard.
know. I know.
I mean,
I was really impressed.
How much of that though do you think is that we're used to playing relics and they feel a certain way and they're comfortable, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you could have your American original relic by the custom shop, or like the McCready is,
Would it be?
or you could have the McCready. What are you going with? Your American original relics or the McCready?
Jeez, that's like.
And they're not like when you bought that guitar, they were like $2,000, right?
$2,000. So we're talking about $100 difference. Seriously, $100 difference. But that was also 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2017, 2018.
The before times
The
when
before times. Yeah.
people could afford to live.
And
I remember that. It's weird.
That American original is still a great guitar, and part of me wonders, and posing that question is great too, right? Because it's like, well, if it's sent to the custom shop and it's relic, I don't know. I can't give a straight answer because I'm like, I kind of think the McCready is just as good.
Here's an interesting question.
Here we go.
It's probably a bad idea to even open this can of worms, but it's a great question.
Yes.
Do we think, this is from Marsh and Mary, do we think Fender should have a made in Mexico custom shop? I'm gonna say no, but I'll tell you why in a minute. What do you think, Sean?
I'm gonna say no too, and I got a reason kind of loaded in my head.
What's your thought?
My thought is, if you did something like that, I just could see a lot of faults happening in that. It'd be really hard to just maintain it. It would be cool if they pulled it off. But what are your thoughts? What's your?
I just think, right, like the lines would get blurry really quick. Like, there's no intrinsic value of it being in America. So, like, if they're the best craftsmen, it doesn't matter if they're making it in the Mexican custom shop or the American custom shop. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think you have to have one custom shop, and you just bring your best builders. And if they happen to be, from Mexico,
Man,
who cares, right? Like, it doesn't matter.
It would be interesting to know if that has happened, where there was just, because there are guys, Carlos Lopez in the American factory, they picked him up off the line setting up guitars.
Yeah,
From what I can recollect, he was with Fender for a long time before that, and he worked up to custom shop. They took him into there because they saw his talent, and they were like, "Yeah, you're great."
Well, that might be one of the last things, right? Where you don't need a degree, man, to be at the top of your game. You don't need a thing. You can literally be an apprentice, and you can work hard, and you can be talented, and just work up. And oh, wow, you were on the line at Fender, like working a factory job.
Yep.
And now you're you were a huge name for the custom shop, and now you're one of the top tier sort of boutique builders.
Which you and I are both, I think, of the same mentality. I'm of the mindset if you go somewhere and you start off sweeping the floor and you work your way up, like really hustling. And I know that probably sounds like, Sean, you're crazy. You're talking like an old man. But that's how I feel.
Sean is an old man. Just in a 25-year-old's body.
That's right. But I mean, I've seen that. I've lived that. I've heard the stories of that. It's like the guy who runs X started there. He started at the floor.
You hear about stuff like that at McDonald's, right? Like, I was just sweeping the floor, taking out the trash, and cooking fries, and now, one of my friends in college, his dad was like that. He did that, and then he, owned some franchises of McDonald's, but he just literally started, in high school, just working, and then he became the guy that went around to, go into the McDonald's, secret to see if they sucked or not. And he used to give us all these little free cards for, McDonald's food in college, and I was like, thank God.
Get you some McDoubles, boy.
It was great. But yeah, and somebody said that it could get weird, sketchy on the used market. It could, right?
Yes.
Well,
and that's the thing too, right? And there's ways around that already, where people have found loopholes to try and scam people. But Fender tries their best to really indicate, right?
They do.
There's underneath the pick guard you can check on a custom shop
relic.
on a made in Mexico guitar, there's actually a circle that's hollowed out. You taught me that, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, why would they do that? And it's to indicate that the body is made in Mexico. It's harder to fill.
Surrender says you're an old soul, Sean. That's true. You are.
Appreciate that.
You're an old soul.
That's right.
But you know, so yeah. So that's kind of, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. I feel like it just kind of, it's just weird to split it, right? Like I mean, if you got people at the Mexico factory I mean, they absolutely should be able to come be master builders or whatever.
Well,
but
and here's a thought too, right? What if they took their best builders from Mexico, brought them in, and then they made a more affordable custom shop model just in the custom shop factory? That would be sick. Like if there was like a $3,000 option, that was just maybe it has a relic to it, and it's like, hey, we're training these guys up, and they're just kind of gonna go through it. It would be weird. I don't think that would ever happen.
I mean, that's almost like
cool.
a Sheeran situation.
That's right.
Except maybe. Here we go. I just, but I don't know. I mean, the only reason, I don't know. I guess part of me, I hate the idea that people can do as good work, and they happen to be in Mexico, so I can pay them less.
Yeah, I don't like that idea.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
I think that's how you get into the problem of the current state that we're in. Is
So
because we try and
I mean, not to get like political about it, but okay. Here's one. I'd say my American Original 50s Tele and my Jason Isbell don't feel dramatically different. Both fantastic guitars. Jason Isbell is another one that we played that we're like, wow.
Great comparison. I had an American Original 60s Tele as well. Played the Jason Isbell. I kind of agree. There's a difference, but is that difference just the neck?
I would rather have the Isbell than your 60s, the one that you had. Even though that 60s one you had looked cool.
It looked cool. It played great, but the Isabel Tele had a bigger neck, and that's more my speed.
My only complaint about the Isabel Teles, they were heavy as sin. They were so heavy. And maybe that's just the weariness of Jason Isbell's tortured soul. I don't know. Maybe it is. Man can't write songs like that without being a little screwed up. But so maybe that's what it is.
Jason, we love you.
Little piece of his shattered soul in every one.
He actually, his tears are under the pickguard. He cried on every guitar.
Taylor Swift had a song about that, Sean, in the early days. What are you gonna?
What a great song.
What are you gonna do?
Man.
But somebody said there's light. I mean, I'm sure there were ones, but we just we only had a few come through, and for whatever reason, man, they were just heavy.
Yeah, all of ours, I think, were closer to 9 pounds. It's not at 9 pounds.
Which is wild for a telly, right?
It is crazy. I'm like, well,
but somebody's just got 70s.
And that that's the other thing with the made in Mexico thing is the quality of the stuff that they're using, and it's not that it's a lower quality really. It's just more so they're not as selective about things like that. Right.
I mean, it's obviously bumping up the quality.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the McCready and the Jason Isabel are great examples of like, okay, maybe it's worth the amount that they're putting the price tag on it. Maybe.
So at this point, we've had, like, it kind of all started with the Paisley Tellies.
Yeah.
Then we got Isabel.
Yeah.
I had McCready.
Yeah.
What's going to be next? We're going to see like a made in Mexico. This is all conjecture, by the way. I do nothing. We see like a made in Mexico. What's the dude from J Mascis? Like or like a Chris Stapleton made in Mexico.
We already got a J Mascis made in Mexico.
Made in Mexico.
The Telly. He's got that.
Oh, that's right.
Rocket.
I was thinking like that's right.
The Jazz Master would be sick too, though.
Jazz Master would be cool, or like a
Are there any signature made in Mexico model Jazz Masters?
Not that I could think of.
I can't think of any. Same thing with the Jaguar.
Not signature. What the Troy Van Leeuwen ones, the older ones, they were all American.
Oh yeah. They were American, though, right? Yeah. Not that it really matters, I don't guess, but just
It matters, Sean.
It do matter.
Don't you go downplaying the importance. But what are you gonna do? So there you go. There you go. What else, Sean? What other important, groundbreaking topics?
Let's take a poll. Should I buy this? That's the poll. Give me the honest feedback. Obviously it's a dumb.
I think you're asking the wrong group of people.
Exactly, but that's why I'm asking this group of people.
You need to ask Skylar. Skylar, should I buy this guitar?
She's the last person we're gonna ask. We might not even ask. We might just do. That's what I usually do. Then I get home. It's just like, what's this? And I'm like, don't worry about it. It's a new
All right,
thing.
let's talk about the Game of Thrones guitars. How much money they made and how the guys that performed in the video didn't get any of that money.
Cool. Is that a thing now? Is that a new? Is that coming out?
Yeah,
Sure
it's
is.
an article on GuitarWorld.com.
Ooh.
Well, I mean,
okay. So let me just make sure I understand the situation. So these guys all sat down and played these guitars, and played the theme of Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And they should have gotten money for me because did that really drive the sale of these guitars?
Had 41 million views on the video.
I feel like
That is tricky.
It was a big view count. I don't know.
And 9 million in guitar sales.
Is that a Baxter Clement over there?
I know.
Clement.
Oh God.
I just got off the phone with my favorite people, so it was a good morning so far.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Do you think?
Here's my thought.
Go ahead.
And some of these guys, they might be in different financial situations, and maybe that's null and void. Do they need the money, kind of thing? But also, I
Does
guess
it matter,
that's not
right?
the point.
It's
yeah.
just, are they owed that money, right?
Yeah,
Like, I
because-
feel like if we shot a video with some random dudes jamming and they were agreed to be in our video because we make videos all the time and some of them get no views and make zero money. And some of them do make a little money, right? Like,
Yeah.
so let's say we had one and for whatever stupid reason, it got 10 million views. Would we feel like we got to track those dudes down?
That's a great point.
You know what I mean?
That's
Now,
that's a
obviously,
really
this is
good-
different because this was a marketing campaign. But I think these guys are all Fender artists, right? Or not? Maybe not necessarily. I don't know.
That's the weird part, right? Because you got Nuno was in it, right, Derek?
So not
and
necessarily.
then the Anthrax guy, right?
Yeah, I guess he's probably not right.
I want a
for-
free Game of Thrones guitar.
Tom Morello was in it.
Tom
Morello?
Morello is a Fender artist.
He's a Fender
you know.
artist, but Nuno is Washburn. Nuno doesn't play a Fender at all, to my knowledge. I have not seen him play.
No, he's got that Washburn signature thing.
Yeah, and that's
Which is cool.
him all day. And who knows? Maybe the deal was like maybe they didn't get any of those guitars, but I mean.
But they were $25,000
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that's just like you come do that because it's fun and you like Game of Thrones and you're like your name is out there. Some of those guys need a recharge occasionally. It's not like they're new cutting edge artists for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got Brad Paisley with the metal guys. That's kind of cool for him. I don't know. I don't know if.
Well, and also let's put ourselves in that position, right? Do we imagine that you're a rock star, right? You're massive. Would you be like, I would just do that because it's fun? Like, I kind of would. I'd kind of be like, I just do it because it's fun. I don't care.
That's what I kind of thought. I would have
wouldn't want
never
any
thought
money.
about.
I wouldn't care.
you know.
Like, if Fender made money, I'd be like, great, whatever. Hey, one day I might come to you for a custom shop or something,
I mean, it'd be different if it was like the Brad Paisley Targaryen, Telly or whatever. Like if somehow it was there, tied into it, right? Like if they all picked a house, or something,
But I feel like, too, people would probably say that I'm a chump if I wouldn't take the money because it's all business at the end of the day.
I
Some
mean, if
people
they
work
were
that way.
offering me money, I would
Yeah.
take it, right?
like-
Like I think but I'm just saying, after the fact,
Yeah.
are like the actual guys
If they
complaining?
were
What you got?
actors, if they were actors,
Yes,
and you were
They get
doing
paid.
something,
You wouldn't do it for
actors
free.
would get paid.
actors would get paid,
Yeah, but musicians just we're dumb. We just jam.
but would they get paid based on the video had 41 million views? That would have depended on
They've been
beforehand,
paid
right?
Based on the marketing campaign.
They would have just been like, hey, here, we're paying you X amount to.
Well, it'd be like any kind of film or movie that was made.
Yeah.
They would just be like, okay, here's what everybody gets, and then hopefully they make the money back and then some.
Or unless they negotiated like royalties,
I
like
bet
oh,
you got free guitars.
If they didn't pay them, would it change it if they were flown out for free, they had a place to stay for free, they were set up for a week, and they could hang out, do whatever they want, play these guitars all week? Would that change it? Because then it's kind of like it's acting, but you're not really
You're hiring them for
a
something,
service. Yeah.
right?
yeah. Like so that I feel like they should have worked out. Like it should have been like yesterday. They should probably be paid.
Well, what about session musicians? They get paid to play on a track, right? I get paid $10,000 to do a solo on the song. Song goes to number 1, and they make
Doesn't matter.
$10 million off of it. I have $10,000 and my job is done, and they can't pay me anymore. Is that the thing? Like, what if this video would have flopped and it would have done nothing, and then we found out they didn't pay anybody
Well,
either?
The payment isn't based off. They're not saying that the video itself.
Yeah, but it's
They
the sell
sold
through.
all these guitars.
Yeah, that's what I mean though.
Yeah.
Like that's the same as selling like a record, right? So where does that fall in? It's kind of weird. I'm like, I don't know. Then.
I think they should have gotten paid if they wanted to like be paid to come do it. They just should have all been figured out. Hey, I'm coming to do this thing with you guys, this video. I would like $3,000. You know, whatever it is. I don't know what the appropriate.
Well,
I mean, because I'm sure they hung out and it's like, oh, these guys just all happen to know the Game of Thrones theme. Like, I'm sure they had to learn it. You know what I mean?
here's the trick to this too, right? Somebody had to go and talk to the reporter on this. Maybe that one guy didn't get paid, but maybe other people did. You know, maybe Brad Paisley got paid.
Maybe the guys who were Fender artists, like Paisley and
you know,
and what's
who
his name?
knows? You know, maybe those guys got paid. Their managers worked out separate deals, and some people's managers just were kind of like, oh well, you know. But it's all
It'll just be
speculation.
fun.
We have no idea. It would be great to know though. I'd love to like if I could call up Brad Paisley and be like, hey Brad.
And how much did Fender make on selling those guitars? I know we when it was happening, we figured it all up.
$9 million.
$9 million.
$9 million. That's everything.
So, I mean, you know,
Does anybody out there own one of those guitars?
that would be good to know. If anybody watching, I would like to know that. I would like to see one of those in person.
Yeah, I've never seen one.
I'd like to hold one. Baxter, have you held them? You held them. Yeah.
It's the blood of dragons.
Yeah.
Was there blood of dragons in it?
Of course.
That's what I meant.
Oh my god.
They were special.
They drip the dragon blood into the nitro.
That would be sick. I mean, is that a bad thing? You remember whenever Steve Vai did that and people freaked out? They were like, gross. He's got
Apparently, the Jim Root Jazz Master is Mexico.
Oh.
Mexican made for nearly $2,000 as well.
Whoa.
I forgot about that.
I didn't know that was up there. That's crazy. I figured it was closer to.
I had seen that. That's not in like the, I don't keep up with that realm,
I lost that.
the Slipknot realm quite as much.
That
but
is
yeah,
cool though that he plays the
pretty cool.
Jazz Master.
Okay, we had a tip for $5. A. Kirk says, in my opinion, the person puts out the emotions at the guitar, and the guitar sort of reflects back what you put into it, like a cosmic mirror.
Yes, I agree
Sean.
with that. That's hot. A cosmic
That's just
mirror?
a cosmic mirror
Oh
that you're
my
holding.
God. You wrote down some poetic stuff, man. You were like throwing that in there. I agree. I do agree. Like whenever I play, you see me playing on stage, it's like whatever guitar I pick up is the cosmic mirror. I feel it.
Brad VC says,
Uh-oh.
those guitars are as disappointing as the final season of that show.
I mean,
What is it? Would I want it to be my main player? No, I would not. Would I want to own it? Probably not as well. So you're probably right.
well, those guitars are kind of tricky, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
I just wish he would finish the damn books.
Yeah.
That's all I want. That's all I want, George R.R. R.
Bad guitar.
Yo, that would be sick. A Breaking Bad guitar, Crystal Bloom.
Okay, so Greg McFadden says the '50s Road Worn is terrific. Now, do you mean like the original old school '50s, like those first Mexican made? Because that was my gateway to relics in the custom shop.
Yeah.
I bought one of those in a pawn shop in Charleston, South Carolina, and I was like, oh, this is fun.
I mean,
That was what got me into worn, aged guitars.
the Ventura stuff's kind of cool. You know, I don't mind it.
I kind of want that new Ventera to bass 6.
Yeah, you do. Because I want it too. Oh my god.
All this baritone talk, give me the bass 6. It's just cool,
It's filthy, dude.
and it's just
That is a filthy guitar.
I don't know.
There's just too many guitars. Not enough time. Not enough money.
Too many guitars.
Yeah. If you had all the money in the world, would you buy a Game of Thrones guitar?
No.
I wouldn't either.
No.
It's not-
There's a lot of guitars on that list I would buy, and some of them would be
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh, there's like some crazy, like a Waylon Telly. I would
I
probably
could
buy
think about that.
I'm gonna be honest. I would buy it and just be like, sweet, that's dope.
I could think about that for sure.
I'm the kind of guy. I'm an idiot, dude, and I've done stuff like this. I'm stupid. I would buy that guitar and I'd just give it to you. I'd be like, Johnny, strip the leather off of it. Do whatever you
Play
want
it.
to it.
Just play it. No,
the
I'd want the
hell out
leather,
of
and
it.
I'd want it to stink. I'd want it to smell disgusting.
Here's the real question,
Because
guys.
it would after about 5 shows.
What's underneath the leather? Who's gonna buy this $25,000
Press
guitar,
board.
cut it open, and see if it's sunburst
Mr.
underneath?
Beast, we've issued a challenge. We
Sir.
want to see under the leather.
I mean, that would be nuts if they cut it open and it's like it's sunburst underneath. They like painted it, you know? Be like, whoa.
Okay, here's a question, right? And I want you to tell me if this would be like lame or not. Because if I had stupid, like,
We've talked about stuff like this before. Go for it.
this is a different one. Let's say that, you know, money's no object, right? You just got money. You get money every day. Money's coming. I'm not typically a fan of like, oh, I got so-and-so's artist series guitar. But I think if I had a ton of money, I would just, all the guys that I love player-wise, I think I would go and try to collect. Like, I'd want, you know, all the Clapton models. I'd want, like, all the Joe Walsh, like,
that would be a fun.
just for fun, right?
just
Not
for
even
fun.
necessarily that I'm going to play them all the time, right?
Yeah. No, I would enjoy something like that. Like,
Kind of cool.
I think that is cool because that's like.
I have like a room, you'd open the door and it would just be like this sea of
Yes.
artists' models. No,
Which is kind of cool. That's way cooler than being like, you know, and then I bought every Telecaster there ever was. I'm like, I want other people to have great Telecasters.
I'd want to do.
I got a great
I mean,
one.
other people can have great Telecasters, you know.
But that's like a cool, like,
I'm you know, I know we talk about Joe hoarding all the Telecasters, but I'm a little more on Team Bonamassa now that he's like started the campaign for loud amps on stage.
listen, I've never been much of a fan of the Bonermeister, but I'll tell you.
Don't
he's
listen,
growing
Joe.
on me.
He's just kidding.
I'm
He
just
didn't mean it.
joking. No,
Me and Baxter love you. Sean doesn't matter.
I've had a change of heart recently. I saw he posted a video the other day that I was like, well, that's kind of cheeky and fun, you know?
Was this the one where he talks about tuning the dude's guitar
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. And he's
I
like,
thought
he
it was
just
fun, too.
detuned them, and I was like, it almost had a little bit of like somebody might have done that to him in it, and I was like, did that happen?
Well, he's like, when you're on stage and you feel outmatched, I'm like, you're Joe Bonamassa. Like,
Yeah. Oh, and then he pulled off like that crazy lick. Did you see that? It was like it was nuts fast. I've been like trying to work on like my speed. He like ripped, dude. It was like I can't even. I'm not even gonna try.
do it,
It's
Sean.
terrible.
Show us.
Oh yeah.
Show
And
us
it was
that
nuts.
Bonamassa lick.
I was like, oh my god.
It's so easy.
But he's all right. He's an all right guy. I won't.
I feel like Joe,
won't-
you know, I feel like he's softening.
He's simmering down. You know. He's like, oh.
I like that he collaborates with so many people.
I like to imagine he's like Scrooge, and one day it's gonna be like Christmas, and he's gonna like come outside of his Nashville place, and he's gonna be handing out Telecasters to people on the street. Here,
Or like little tweet
take
amps
one.
to everyone.
Take one. Have them all.
Maybe not Telecasters, just little tweet amps. Like, you get a champ. Everybody's got a champ, you know? A champ for everyone.
Now that I've bought
A
them all.
champ for everyone. No, yeah.
Yeah, but I do agree. Loud amps on stages. Do it.
Todd Roy says Bonamassa is great. He's a guitar guy. Come on, he really is great.
yeah.
And there's, I don't know if you could find a better player.
Yes, I agree.
Just a straight up guitar player. Bonamassa is pretty good.
Have you seen Nick Jonas?
What about Tommy Emmanuel? Have you watched Tommy Emmanuel on Rick Beato?
I have not seen it, but I've been told to watch it. Is it worthwhile? Is it?
Well, he does it. I watched this thing last night. It wasn't the whole thing, and I don't even know if the whole interview's out. I'm assuming it is, but it's a clip where he's like, "Yeah, I like to practice by improvising, but changing keys," and he starts playing blues. But then he does all these ridiculous like half-step modulations like in the middle
That's
of it.
cool. I like that. I'm gonna have to watch that now. And
Like
then-
you think you can play guitar.
Well,
and
the
you see
same
people
thing
do
with the
stuff like that,
Bonamassa.
you're
Like, I'm
nah.
gonna watch that and I'm gonna be like,
Right.
oh, I could probably do that. No, you can't.
So,
Don't
you know.
even try. Should have started whenever I was 3. It's like buying a house. Should
It
have bought
wouldn't
one when
matter.
I was 3, and I'd be fine now.
Yeah, why not? All right. Any other pressing issues? Or should we go be productive members of our guitar store?
I don't know.
More fun.
This is more
Pressing
fun.
issues. Baxter,
This
got
is-
anything? You wanna hop on camera?
I get nervous on camera.
What?
Nobody wants to see.
Jamming Jack says, so I'm convinced, Jonathan, in the right setting, you can make anything sound great. I appreciate that, sir. It may or may not be true, but someone said, okay, let's talk about this. Lukather will blow them all away. And by them all, I think he means like Bonamassa. And Lukather is amazing. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I've heard a lot of people, as of recent, say that they believe, and this is like a lot of people that I met in person, a lot of videos, there just seems to be a lot of talk that Eric Gales is considered the greatest guitar player on the planet right now. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, well, I mean, he's great. I think he's amazing, you know? I love his
but
playing.
how can you say someone is the greatest on the planet?
greatest
Like,
on the
what does
planet.
that mean?
That's kind of my thought, because I'm like, he's fantastic. I don't want it to sound like I think he's not. He's great. I do love his playing. But also, I'm like,
He is fantastic, you know.
he's good at...
And he's amazing live, man. Like, I
Yes.
got to open for him at First Friday years ago. And He is amazing live. Like, it really is amazing. But then you talk about guys like Guthrie Govan or like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you can say he's the greatest.
I know. That's my thing. And I feel like
And is he better than like a Steve Lukather? Steve Lukather's pretty bad. I mean, like, he is amazing, right? Like, he's never really been my top tier dude for whatever reason. But that's just that's more like what I like to hear, not.
Yes.
But then you realize that Steve Lukather played all these things that are what you want to hear. You just didn't know it was him because he's a session guy. So I don't know.
You know, who's Mateus Asado? You know?
God, that dude's stupidly
He's
good.
amazingly good.
But can you say he's the greatest? I don't know. I just don't know if you can do that.
Yes, I don't think there is a greatest. I just think, you know, there's like, it's kind of like ice cream, you know? There's a day where you want vanilla. There's a day where you want, you know, brownie. There's a day, you know, and you're like, this is, you know.
Because some days I want to hear like Johnny Highland doing like stupid like chicken picking stuff, right? And then some days I want to hear Eric Gales just like do ridiculously ripping like blues rock with that harmonic minor thing he does. And then, you know, some days I maybe want to hear Steve Lukather do the crazy melodic like shreddy stuff. I don't know, you know.
Yeah. Well, for me, and I think too, it also depends on what metric you're looking at, right? Like rhythm players, right? I've been in a huge like Corey Long thing where like talk about like one of the greatest right hands in music right now.
Yeah, it's really good. Wow.
But just to like seeing like his practice routines and stuff, and I'm like, that guy's great. But you know, he's not like better or worse than Eric Gales, Joe Bonamassa.
Well, but then you talk about Tommy Emmanuel. His right hand he does it all. He is the whole band. He does it all on an acoustic freaking guitar.
Yep.
And like when he plays, you're like, oh crap, it's a freight train, and he's also doing all these crazy fast runs, and like it's just him. Like he can sit down with a guitar, and you don't need anything else, and somehow he is entertaining, right? Because there's some great like thumb fingerstyle players that you can go and see, and the average person is like, oh, that's nice, like elevator kind of music, you know what I mean? And they have no idea how many years it took to be great at that, right? Because it's I mean it's so stupidly hard, I think.
I had a conversation with a guy about the same thing the other night. He was like, well, you're somebody who was gifted and all this. And I was like, you know how much time I put into this?
I mean,
and I'm not even at the level of those guys. You know, I'm like, those guys they put in years.
I do think certain people are gifted, right? But it's still, you can be gifted. I know a lot of guys who are gifted and they're still like worthless.
Yes.
But like Tommy Emmanuel can do that. It's amazing. He's fine in a band. He's fine by himself. Yep. And he's like, he can put on a whole show, and at the end you're like, wow. That was really fun.
Well, that comes down to like the musician and artistry of this thing, right? Is like
I think you got to be Australian.
That's it. No, I mean it's like you should be able to go from. It's like the saying about a great song, right? A great song should be good on an acoustic guitar. It should be great with a full band, and it should be amazing on a record. You know, it's like if it can't pass the acoustic test, though, it probably will struggle to get to the other parts. You know?
So the Mighty Woodrow says Brett Mason always floors me. He is amazing.
He's great.
Right?
Yeah.
He is amazing. And it's just weird because he's like so different than Brad Paisley, even though they have sort of a similar-ish skill set.
Well,
but I mean, think of all those cool things Brett Mason came up with. Even if you just looked at like Alan Jackson records and you're like, oh, Alan Jackson's lame. No, if you listen to the guitar parts, like
Chattahoochee.
Most guitar players cannot play the Alan Jackson stuff. Like not really play it like because it's so hard.
With the amount of feel and the amount of like just ripping. I mean, you listen to Chattahoochee and that's one of the coolest country guitar lines.
It's very cool.
Ever. That da-na-na-na-na-na-na, and it's like, is it the craziest lick they come up with? No, but it's also like, wow.
There's a story where he said that he played like quadruple that. Like he had this riff that was like crazy, and then I don't know if I can't remember if it was the producer, if it's Alan Jackson. He's like, just calm down and go in there and play half that. And that was the Chattahoochee riff kind of thing. And I mean that's not an exact quote, but anyways. So Brad Vesey's right though. He says Esteban is the greatest of all time.
That's exactly right.
But it's just funny, right? Because everyone on here is naming different guitar players, and they're all amazing, and you can make a case for all of them.
Every single person.
And you know, some of them I don't even really love listening to that much.
But everyone's been wrong. It's just the answer is Jimmy Page, and it's over. That's it. I mean,
Baxter, oh my God.
I like Chuck Berry too. Don't worry.
Now, here you go. Technicians on the instrument don't always equal music, if that makes sense. Great musicians will evoke emotional responses. I think that's really true. I had a guy when I was learning to play guitar who told me that he was a technician, that he like knew how a guitar kind of worked, but he wasn't a very good musician. And I didn't necessarily understand that as a kid, but like I kind of do now, right? And I think there's a good, you know.
I've had a realization over the last couple of weeks. You know, we do all this woodshedding, right? As like musicians or technicians, right? And we're just like working on something. And at the end of the day, what really matters isn't so much what your technical abilities are able to do. It's if you're trying to say something, how you speak that, you know, through the guitar. That's my mindset, though. And that's what I want to work more at, you know, is like, because that can be anybody, you know. Like, my guitar heroes range from the guys in Sonic Youth, which you could argue absolutely suck, you know, and, you know, guys like Tom Bukovac, who are like great session guys, or, you know, Corey Long, or, you know, these people who are like technically amazing, you know.
Well, like John Jones says, name 2 original songs of your greatest players. And that's a good point, right?
Yeah.
But I think you can put it in 2 categories of like just straight up like guitar, athletic, you know, blah, you know, craziness. Or guys who just play. And some of those guys are the same guy, right? Like Tom Bukovac can play for the song. Obviously, he can play Crazy Wild Things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there was a lot of guys when I was learning to play that I'd go see who were just great live, but they probably weren't like the most technical, greatest guitar players.
Which is okay, right?
But I just, you know, I learned like, oh, if you just do these things, you'll sound good in song, and
well, it's like
people want you to play for them.
You know, it's like you know, not Counting Crows, but the Black Crows kind of situation. Like that guy played the best possible things for that music.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be crazy good. It's like, hey, do what you gotta do.
It's gotta be goodish.
Yeah, I think you just gotta be original. You know, I think that's the big key. You know.
And it's so funny because we're all guitar players on the chat and right here. Like we care. Like most people listen to the Black Crows. Yeah, they just want it to be fun and have this like energy, right? They don't really care.
Yeah.
If it was, you know, did he play a flat 6? I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No,
I don't know.
Like, yeah, that's
What did he play? Yeah. Oh my God, what mode was
you know,
that in? I wouldn't have played that mode. I mean, you know, nobody cares.
It's like, you know, just whenever people hear like an octave in, or like you do like it's funny that if you go like, you hold that for a bit and everybody's like, woo! But you know, you can like rip through something. I've seen Jonathan rip through something and then do that at the end of it, and then that's whenever people are like, yeah. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, you didn't see the cool stuff before that? There's like amazing stuff happening. And it's just, but that's what, you know, a true audience, like we're all dumb because we're guitar players and we pay too much attention, you know?
This is a good point. Every goat, you know, greatest of all time, has someone they think is greater. Jimi Hendrix thought Roy Gallagher was the best in the world. I don't know if he really did think that Roy Gallagher was the best. He probably did. Maybe he did. But yeah, I mean, they all have influences, right? Like, and it's hard to, even if you get better, you still like kind of hold your heroes up here.
It would be scary to see if there's like a guy out there that's like, no, I'm the best. Like that would be wild. Like if Tim Henson, if Tim Henson came onto YouTube and was like, I am the GOAT.
So like the LeBron James of guitar players.
Yeah.
No, I'm the greatest. No.
I'd be like, whoa, bro. Like, oh, that's intense.
I'd want it to be like Jimmy Vaughn. I don't want Jimmy Vaughn to be like, no disrespect, Mr. Vaughn, because he's fantastic. But I want it to be somebody with some attitude who could be like, hey, F you guys, I'm the greatest. That's what I want to hear.
Somebody that just like, you know,
just
no hold back the whole time. Sunglasses on in the interview, Kanye West style. I am a god. I'm the greatest artist of a generation. You know?
Like I said, Ingve.
I mean, you're not
I feel
wrong.
like I am the fastest. I am the greatest.
Yeah, but you know what doesn't change? I've never sat down and said, time to just listen to some Ingve on this long car ride, and you know.
Do you mean that's not why you're buying that P90 equipped SG?
I'm sorry.
Some shreds, some neoclassical?
He's amazing, but that goes back to the artistry and emotion thing and being original. It's like, he's totally original, but oh my God, like, come on.
I mean,
how many times can you...
I just
won't say
like
what I'm
I
thinking.
don't ever want to listen to him, but I like to see it because I'm like, man, that's kind of cool. Someone could do that, right?
Yeah.
Let's see who said this.
And like the state fair.
David Estes says what guitar playing is missing is WWE style interviews. That would be amazing.
Yo, that would be.
That would
I'm
be
gonna rip
amazing.
his head off.
We're opening for David Gilmour Friday, and then it just like go, get really red and veiny, and that would be
The
amazing.
cream. The cream.
We're gonna tear his house down. Yeah, that's right. I want to see like Macho Man style, Ultimate Warrior.
Yo, every live stream on Wednesday is starting with that now. I'm gonna come on here and I'm just gonna rip right off the bat. Bonermeister, I see you. I see you sitting in your house. You ain't nothing.
But you got to keep twirling, you got to keep turning around and holding your hands like probably have to do some kind of drugs. I imagine those guys were on
Lots of coke.
on stuff. I'm sure that I was involved, but yeah, who knows? Anyways,
No, it's just
there you go, Natasha Nix. Hello. But yeah, so there you go. And on that note, that's probably a good place.
on that riveting
The
bombshell. We'll see you.
We're going to
next
work
time.
on that. We're going to work on WWE. Even if Derek has to do it through AI-generated means, that's what we're going to work on,
No, we're getting outfits.
Because who was it not long ago that said they wanted to play with John Mayer? Was it Eric Gales? Remember that when he said he'd never jam with John Mayer? This was a while ago, but it was for like a week.
I
It was
remember, yeah.
And then some places explained it's like, oh, we called him out, and he's like, no, I didn't call him out. I just said I would like to play with him. But we should do an AI generated Eric Gales an interview, like
I got one better. Nuno and Mr. Fortis.
Oh my God, that's too close to reality. Can't do that one. It's too close.
You're a
It's
fool.
It's too.
Slash would bury you.
It's too.
You're a
it's
chump.
too- Who? I've never. Who? What? What's his name?
What?
Okay. All right. Now that's it. That's it. When are we getting wrestling masks? It could happen. The Nacho
Anything's
Libre
possible.
kind of. Why not? I have one somewhere.
I have one too. I think I gave it to somebody though.
Dang it. We could wear monocles instead.
I forgot who I gave it to.
We'll get it. We'll find it. We'll get it back. Amazon. Have it here tomorrow. All right. We're going. No more.
No more.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
We had fun.
Check out the videos this week. Don't forget, click the like button, hit subscribe. Sean, what are they going to do?
And hit that bell, dude.
That's it. We'll see you guys later.
Ring the bell. Let me know if I should make a bad decision. Send me
Hit
an email
the
and be like,
bell.
just do it.
Do it.